How to support workplace bullying victims. Hi there, my name is Dr. Nachi Sinha, and I'm back with my third video in the series of workplace bullying. In my previous videos, I've talked about workplace bullying, its top 10 signs, and how to deal with workplace bullying. In today's video, I will discuss some effective ways and how you can, help your friends, or family members, or colleagues who are dealing with workplace bullying. So let's start. Looking at the whole picture as we move forward, I think the first step that you need to be aware of is talk to the victim. If you see that your colleague or friend is being bullied, be there for them. Let them know that you are here to support them. Often the victim of a bully chooses to stay silent and suffer so that they don't create more trouble for themselves or attract unnecessary attention when they're already feeling victimized. So they silently endure everything and don't want to strain anything further with their bosses. But you see, suffering and accepting bullying is never a good idea. Every employee in any organization, deserves to be treated with respect and courtesy. So remind the victim that they are being bullied and that they should take steps to end it. Talk to your friend about the effects of workplace bullying and how it can influence their mental health. Motivate them to stand up for themselves. Moving on to the second step. Encourage them to talk to the bully. Now, this might sound a bit strange, but the fact of the matter is that open communication is the best way to resolve matters. So encourage the victim to have a civil conversation with the bully and ask them why they're mistreating them and how one can cultivate a cordial relationship. The idea behind this is that maybe the person doesn't know what they're doing or how it impacts the victim, or maybe the victim is misunderstanding what's going on. So this sort of opens that door for that communication. And moreover, when the victim confronts the bully and asks them about the mistreatment, it also makes the bully a bit cautious. Then they realize that the person is not afraid to speak up for themselves. And there's also a possibility subsequent to that the bully might back off. Now, the victim might be hesitant, of course, to talk to the bully. However, when you motivate them and show them that there is a possibility that the bullying behavior would end, either because the bully backs off, because they're scared and worried about the victim standing up, or they back off because they realize that the behavior was indeed bullying. So there is a possibility. Now, moving on to the third step. Boost their morale. See, yelling, cursing, or degrading behavior being subjected to that sort of has massive impact on one's confidence. The victim begins to feel worthless and inferior to their co-workers and other people. Low self-esteem and confidence impact the person's personal life and performance at work. So, be there for the victim and talk to them, remind them of their strength and abilities. Moreover, remind them also that they don't deserve to be subjected to bullying behavior in the workplace. You can even stand up against the bully for them. For instance, let's say a bully cracks a racist joke, to target the victim. Don't laugh at it. You shouldn't laugh at that. Instead, you should firmly tell the bully that it's not polite and respectful to ridicule someone. Moving on to the fourth way to help the victim in this situation. And number 4 is ask them to establish boundaries. You see, a bully continues to irritate and disrespect the person if they're not told to stop. Unfortunately, when the victim endures bullying or tries ignoring the bully, it doesn't really end the bullying behavior. And we've established that. We've seen why that doesn't work, and it never will. So teach the victim to establish and communicate boundaries. The victim should be able to make it clear to the bully and other employees that the behavior and things that are happening around them are unacceptable to them. For example, if you could teach your friend to be firm and make boundaries, Furthermore, encourage your friend to share the consequences of crossing these boundaries with the bully. So what's happening here is you've had a communication, you're communicating that you don't accept the behavior, and then you're establishing your boundaries, and then you're also telling the bully and others around you that there are consequences to when these boundaries are crossed. And the important thing here to remind your friend, of course, is that as the victim, it's important that once you mention what these boundaries are and what the consequences are, then you have to be prepared to act on them too. You can't just say it and not do anything about it, because then that'll create another layer of problems. Moving on to number 5. Advise the victim to document everything. Now, before repeating an incident to the upper management or human resources, which you might end up doing, it's always important to make a record, of concrete bullying behavior. What I mean is that the details, be specific, not just I think, I felt. No, just record what happened. For example, ask your friend to document incidents, and note down every tiny detail, such as the time, the incident, and the people who witnessed the bullying behavior. Having a record of things will make it easier for the victim to confront the bully and to report them to senior management. And then when that happens, then you already have a prepared document, so to speak, which makes it easy for HR or senior management to take action based on what their policies are. Now, number 6 is save evidence. So if a co-worker is a constant target of bully, and gets threatened or mocked by them, you must advise the co-worker to play smart here. You see, ask your co-worker to save every threatening or disrespectful message, email, memo, so to speak, that they received from the bully. Having a proper record of evidence will make it easier for the victim to report the bully, just like, we're talking about earlier. Moreover, you see, these pieces of evidence will help the HR team in the investigation. So, you've got to make sure that you and the co-worker are familiar with the company's policy towards bullying behavior and how to report such incidents. So this brings us to the 7th point, to help them review the work policies. You see, every organization has a different set of policies and procedures for dealing with bullying behavior. Some organizations have zero tolerance policy for such behavior and terminate the bully, while some organizations are a bit more lenient towards bullying. So before your co-worker approaches the upper management, they should review the company's policy and reporting conduct. So help your co-worker by researching and understanding the company's policy against bullying behavior. Find the relevant information, the code of conduct, the policies pertaining to reporting incidents, and once you have all the information, proceed with the reporting procedure. Moving on to the 8th step here. Report the bully. See, the bully often threatens the victim about the job so that the victim doesn't take any action. Now, if you observe that a co-worker is being threatened by a bully, don't hesitate to report, to the manager or upper authorities. Now, you can report the incident anonymously or send an email to the supervisor. Inform them about the misbehavior you witnessed. Also attach the evidence or mention the names of the employees who were present at the time of the incident. If the co-worker wants to report the bully and talk to the HR team, be there to support them. Appreciate them for taking a stand and doing what's right. Moving on to number 9. Testify to the bullying behavior. Always be there for your co-worker. If your co-worker needs your support, either to report the incident or to testify in the case. Now, having witnesses and evidence helps the HR team investigating and helps them to reach a final decision. Now, it helps the co-worker to end the bullying behavior. And the company, of course, also benefits by removing bullies and making the workplace environment safe and healthy for employees, which in turn will also, improve the company morale and lead to better production and so on and so forth. So never shy away from supporting the coworker and testifying against the bully. Because if you don't speak up and let the organization know of the bullies, you can be the next victim of bullying. Or somebody else that you know could be the next victim of bullying. So help your friend and save yourself and others from bullying behavior by taking a stand and testifying when asked to. The last thing we want to talk about today in this line would be point number 10, which is to, respect the decisions. You see, if your coworker is not helped by the supervisor or the HR team, they're only left with two options. The first option is to seek legal help, which, let's face it, is quite expensive and has its own challenges. And the second opinion is to quit the company and look for a new job. Now, it's important here to kind of take a sort of a breather for a moment here, because you say, well, quit the company and leave things as they are. Well, there is this concept called sunk cost fallacy. There's a video of mine with that, and I'll perhaps leave a link down there as well. So have a look at that. We'll explain this fallacy we have, that when you put in a lot of effort into something, then keep fighting for it, but not really. You need to know when to quit. So if the victim leaves the company to part ways with the bullies, and this actually happens in most cases, and if a coworker decides to resign, do not force them to stay. It's important, because often colleagues are not supportive when a person shares about resigning and quitting the job. A toxic environment at work is physically and mentally taxing for the person. Let's never presume the person or pressure the person and presume that they need to make a fixed decision. So the victim, has the right to make decisions. So don't scare them about financial difficulties they'll face after the job, or don't pressurize them to change their mind. You should ask them to reconsider their decisions and think properly before quitting. That's understandable. But once they've made a decision, be supportive and see how you can help them in the next steps. For example, help them connect with people and companies that have vacancies and are hiring. And keep in mind that the companies you recommend are actually decent places and don't have a toxic work environment, so they don't fall back in the same traps. Right, so moving forward, we've discussed that bullying behavior makes the person feel isolated and inferior to the workers, friends, and colleagues, right? The least that you can do for them is extend your unreserved support. And being a victim of bullying crushes confidence and shakes self-esteem. But supporting the victim and encouraging them to speak up for themselves and informing the management can revive their confidence. So in my next video in this series, I am going to talk about the physical and mental effect of bullying behavior on the victim. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you think it makes sense to you, then pass it on to those who you think need to be aware of this. We will, of course, reach out for other topics as well. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching this. And if you are feeling concerned about some issue, reach out and ask for help. Help does make a difference. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.